What is going on today? It is Daniel with Cuervo ATV. I'm going to try a little something different with this camera today, but let's like and subscribe. That is fun. That does me a whole lot of nothing really, except spread the wealth of information because I'm not monetizing. So, if you see ads, I don't know. But on my side, we are blocked out. Anyway, today we are talking about why going from a +2 intake valve to a +3 intake valve in millimeter size, so going from a 40 to a 41 millimeter on the Raptor, is not just for everybody throw it together, it's just fine kind of deal. It's not. There's a lot more that happens there that needs to be done to make these things live proper. And today we're going to talk about one of those quick things. So what we are talking about is camshaft selection for a +3 valve head. Now, a +2 valve head and a 500 lift camshaft work well together in that the flow range of a +2 head is efficient to the 500 lift mark, and then you can have some additional flow range over that mark, but the RPM range with the stainless valve on a +2 and a 500 lift camshaft are well matched together. Now, going up to a +3 valve, yes, you can run a 500 lift camshaft. Yes, you do need to run a specialty spring kit if you're running a stainless valve, or most often, like these intake valves are, they are a titanium valve. Now, this is just a head that came in that we're doing some repairs on for a local job. This is not our porting. Another shop did this. But we're doing some repairs to it to keep this customer going on his next build. So, what I noticed here though is the valve-to-valve clearance on overlap. So, the clearance between these two valves on overlap, which we see here, all 4 valves are open. So that would be what you call overlap. So not on your power stroke, but on the opposite side there. As the intake valves are opening and the exhaust valves are closing, then you're on overlap here. What is going on is this intake valve is actually chipping away slowly, and it's hard to see, but it's barely scuffing the outside of this exhaust valve because the clearance between the two is too tight. Now, this particular head has a has a Web 290 camshaft, which is very popular in the industry. And I believe these are Freya titanium valves. A little hard to read or see, but basically, if you take a filler gauge while the cam is on overlap and measure between those two valves, whoa, this one comes up right about 30 thou. Let's see, there's a 30. It's actually a little tighter than 30 thou. So the minimum spec I go off of is we want to see at least 35. That is a pretty tight spec, but that's what we like to see. So there is a lot of factors that go into having proper clearance. Obviously, if these two valves hit each other, then this whole motor is going to be imploded. So in camshaft profile can change how much overlap is happening and how far these valves are from each other. So in a +2 valve, you'd have another 20 thou clearance there. So automatically you'd have another 20 thou because the intake valve is smaller. You got 20 on each side, would give you 20 in the center there. So just dropping in a titanium +3 valve or a stainless +3 valve, there has to be some measurements taken to make the thing live. So fortunate enough for this customer, he didn't have this thing come apart. Very fortunate. But as the valve job wears or spring kit gets tired, you can have a little some valve flow or some change in where these events are happening, and then you can have those two valves hit each other. So that is one thing that goes on with, don't just have anybody do a +3 head for you. So if the depth of this valve job was a little higher, it may be tighter together at that point, or if it were lower, or if the intake were higher or lower, that clearance can become tighter. Now, I don't run this specific grind in our +3 heads because we want to put a bigger camshaft in there to make more power to utilize the +3 valve. There's really no reason to run a 290 camshaft in a +3 head. You're kind of like wasting what potential is there and wasting money at the same time by doing the +3. So that is kind of part of the issue of what is going on here. Obviously, you can see it needs some surface work done. We are going to change the camshaft to our 5250 camshaft because we don't sell any of our camshafts that are bigger than our 5250 to go out in the world and somebody random buy it and try and put it in whatever head configuration. We are saving those camshafts for our heads, our combination that we know works great with our porting. So what we're offering for this customer is our 5250. We'll give it another 300 RPM of peak power potential, pick up some power on the top end, give it some more valve to valve clearance. So dropping in a camshaft in a random +3 head you gotta be extremely careful of clearances. So beyond that, what else happens is spring kit. So this one's got some kibble whites in there. Those are going to get changed out to the RD spring kit we use. But another thing of clearance is the length of the valve and where that sits, where that works. If it's going to have, on titanium valves, you use a lash cap on them. Let's see if I can get a picture of that. So these valves have lash caps on top of them. It's hard to see, but basically a hardened cap that goes on top of the valve. So we are going to do that. But you can't just drop in any camshaft into a +3 head and expect it to fit properly or work properly. So that is a little bit of rambling on this topic. For those who are interested in it, you're probably still watching. And I hope that gives you some insight or information and some conclusion to the guys who do call and say, hey, I want a bigger camshaft. Well, we don't sell it unless we do the cylinder head, and that's how we're going to go from here forward and for the last couple of years. So that is what we have, and good luck on your engine endeavors, and make sure to give us a call on Performance Parts. Raptor 700 specifically is all we're doing here. So we will talk to you on the next one.